Hello and welcome to this weather video. We're going to talk about some more unsettled weather again, and we've been dealing with stall front syndrome most of this week. You can see on the satellite image. You also see that there's a little smoke, mainly off to the north here. Notice it right over here, over upstate New York, or western New York, into New England. It's a little bit noticeable today. Not terribly noticeable, a little bit noticeable. Anyway. Let's go over what happened yesterday. So yesterday we did, unfortunately, stall front syndrome kind of ruined the day for us here on Long Island. We were kind of stuck in these high clouds, didn't clear out into the afternoon. However, if you were a little bit further to the west, this is what happened later in the afternoon. Yeah, if you were in Jersey, the clouds would have been off to the east by about, well, maybe like, 20, 30 miles. But you would have had clear sky for a little bit. And unfortunately, that's probably what I should have done. Maybe I would have had some clear sky there, but it was just so close. So I was hoping to really make it to the Pine Barrens yesterday, and it didn't quite happen. I kind of just went to Pine Lawn, just the furthest west area, and even here on Long Island, you could see the high clouds kind of sitting off to the east here. So it's kind of like what we were looking at here. So it was like over here. So it's the high clouds. You could see them kind of sitting off to the east. So looking that way, you could sort of see as your stalled front over there. Again, stall front syndrome being a real thorn in my side once again. If you look to the north, there was clear skies. If you look to the north, yeah, it's clear skies. But if you look to the northeast, forget it. You had it was like a half and half sky. But of course, it cleared out by the evening, of course. So it's Hempstead Lake. But as far as today goes, a lot of clouds around today. Oh, and we had the moon last night too as well. Much easier to take a picture of the moon when it's a full. It was, I guess, almost a full moon. But this full moon is why we have some coastal flooded alerts in effect. As far as today, plenty of clouds, though it was kind of pretty at night. I guess look at the sky. See, kind of pretty. Sky again, Rockville Center. I did not want to leave. It was a really nice breeze out there. But as far as today goes, yeah, we had a lot of clouds around. Let's see, it's not even showing. Okay, so that's pretty much what we had to deal with today. So not a clear day today. So you got an east wind. It's pretty cool out there. 64, dew points 55. At Islip, got up to 74, low of 54. Here's your climate report. High of 74, low of 53. It says here 5 degrees below normal for the day. So anyway, you can see we've got some issues with coastal flood statements. So there could be some mild coastal flooding, coastal flood advisory in effect for New Jersey. So we have a coastal flood statement, and there could be up to 1/2 foot inundation due to the full moon and the easterly wind that we're having. Coastal flood advisory for New Jersey with an up to 1 foot of inundation possible. So there could be a little bit of coastal flooding. Again, we have that east wind in the full moon. So that's why we're seeing that. We'll just look at the highs on the map today. And you see highs generally mid-70s pretty much. And yesterday was very cool as well. We had highs in the low to mid-70s. It was very nice. Low to mid-70s. And lows at night. West Hampton got down to 45. 48 Shirley. 50s everywhere else. Upper 40s in the Pine Barrens. Unfortunately for me, in the alley, it got down to like maybe around 60. And I had to use the air conditioner still. So, yeah, ridiculous. But anyway, let's look at the models and see what's the issue is today. So this is the 18Z run of the GFS. And you can see we got this low that's formed along the stall front that could bring in some light rain or sucky drizzle into part of tomorrow. And then that pulls away. This is the GFS. And then we have a high pressure building in, again over New England again. Always over New England for the weekend. He never seemed to build right directly over us anymore. This is the European. All right, so this is the European. You can see the low here. Again, it would just be very light precipitation, just more of a nuisance than anything else tomorrow, mainly in the front, and then that kind of pulls away. And we can hopefully get some clear skies. We get this high building down again. Again, New England high. That should keep us fairly dry through the weekend, though the Euro is showing some. We'll talk about the weekend. Usually I'll do another video for the weekend, but probably maybe not because I'm doing a video now. So you can see it is generating some shower and thunderstorm activity inland for Sunday. So that will have to be watched. That's the European. So again, we got to deal with stall front syndrome, and we got a low along the stall front. So this is tomorrow, and you can see what happens here. We got this low developing along the stall front, and there's dry air in place, so it's going to try to really hold back the precipitation. And there really won't be a whole lot. It could be a light sprinkle or shower, and maybe some drizzle earlier on, and then hopefully by later in the afternoon and the evening, we start to dry things out as the low moves away. So let's look at our dew points and wind flow. And by the way, total accumulated precip on the HRRR, not really showing very much at all. So you'd have to be much further south. So that's what I'm saying. I don't really think. I know the NAM was a little heavier in the last. Let's look at that again. But generally speaking, we have dry air. We have easterly wind. But you see there is some moist air off to the south that tries to make its way in for tomorrow. So the dew points do go up a little bit. The winds turn more northeast, and you can see pretty breezy at times. And then the low kind of pulls away. Here we are into Thursday, and the dew points drop back into the 50s and maybe even some 40s as we get into Thursday. But it looks like, yeah, there's a telltale sign of a sea breeze developing in the afternoon on Thursday again. So this has been happening like at every high that we've had build down. The winds just don't stay north the whole day or northwest. Always get a shift to the south in the evening. Tomorrow, plenty of clouds. Temperatures will be cool. Obviously, tonight we're not going to cool down as much with the cloud cover coming in. And then by Thursday morning, we'll have 50s, and then Thursday will turn out to be warmer. It won't be as cool. Could be near 80 in New Jersey and mid to upper 70s across Long Island. The cooler air is up over here, basically. So we have to wait until. Show you the European here. We have to wait until the Friday. This front is going to there's going to be another front that's going to drop by, and this drier air is going to come in. But again, high goes to the east, so the core of the air goes over north, goes to the north. We have easterly winds on Friday, and we stay with that northeasterly flow. Here we are on Saturday, sticking with the northeasterly flow, and on Sunday, still an easterly flow. So with that, the temperatures will be cool for sure with that easterly flow. So Thursday is going to be the warmest day that we're going to see, and then once we get to the weekend, I think, still showing well into the 70s in New Jersey, but it's cooler across Long Island. And then Saturday, the temperatures definitely dropped off to lower 70s and maybe even upper 60s and low 70s. But this is a Sunday, and this is the issue that we could have inland with, again, some precipitation developing. We'll have to watch that and see what happens with that. It's like a little low or whatever that comes by or whatever. That'll have to be watched. So let's look at the NAM. Should have this, at least, we have the whole 0Z NAM in. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. And you can see the NAM. Similar deal, maybe a little bit more of the shower. Maybe the showers kind of just peter out. Maybe they get over Jersey, but by the time they make it to Long Island, they kind of just peter out. And then, again, on Thursday, we dry out. So the weather should be fine for all the September 11th ceremonies. It'll be 24 years. So, again, not a whole lot of precipitation here. We'll go and look at the HRRR again. And I want to just look at some soundings as we head into. So hopefully maybe we get some clear skies on Thursday. Hopefully, let's see what happens. I'll sounding here. 17Z. We'll first try Long Island. See how that looks. Yeah, it looks pretty good. What about New Jersey? A little bit more moisture in the air in New Jersey, but other than that, it looks pretty decent. It's just going to be warmer, but hopefully we have clear skies. There's a little more moisture in the air with New Jersey, but it looks like it's showing fairly clear skies. So when I'm looking at at least with these soundings, we'll go now to the cloud model for the RGEM. Obviously tomorrow we're going to have plenty of clouds. We'll be stuck in the clouds all day, pretty much. I don't think there'll be much sunshine at all. Maybe a few breaks later on. But it's going to be kind of a gloomy day. And then for Thursday, it's showing some clouds lingering over New Jersey. Long Island clears out. And then this is, again, the 18Z run of the RGEM. And then on Friday, you can see, again, inland, you're going to have more clouds kind of building in. So this is what the RGEM is showing for that day. All right, this is the RGEM. Wasn't terrible. This model hasn't been doing too well lately. Like today, it was being optimistic that we'd have a clear sky, and it was really way off. Let me look at the NAM as well. NAM is showing less clouds. Overdoes the clouds a little bit, I think, the NAM. FV3, this one was kind of off. That's as far as that one goes. So that's pretty much all the sky models I have. There's one more precipitation model we'll look at, and that's the HDRPS. Again, you can see that rain just pretty much stays just offshore. So I don't really think we're going to really get into much precipitation at all. Maybe a little bit of light rain, but the main issue could be some drizzle, some sucky drizzle that we could wind up seeing. So let's go and look at the Ventus sky. Let's go to the Ventus sky. And we'll go ahead and look at our visibility meter. So this is cloud cover, this is visibility. Let's go and take a look and see what we have for tomorrow. So you could see in the morning there is some possible, it could be some light drizzle in the air, but it's not really showing too much. It does show a little bit off the south shore in the afternoon, a little bit around 2. Kind of pushes to the south at 5, and then by 8 it's kind of, I mean, it could be possibly some, but these are very, very pretty long visibilities, but this is just a suggestion that there might be. It's very hard to predict that. You know that it's hard to predict. But right now, it looks kind of unlikely that there would be drizzle through the entire day. It would be most likely in the morning. Because there's a lot of surface dry air. Let's get the humidity. This kind of tells us all. It's not hitting 100%, so it kind of has to hit 100%. It's kind of at 90%. So you see what happens here with the humidity. And as we go into Thursday, the humidity drops. Inland, you'll see the humidity drop quite a bit here, 40%. There'll be low humidity. And this, by the way, is the cloud forecast. So it's showing clear skies for Thursday. This doesn't go out to Friday. If I go to Friday, it switches to the icon, which is not a gray cloud. The icon looks like it has plenty of clouds for Friday. So Thursday would probably have the most sunshine probably at this point. So let's lastly go to the smoke models. Oh, and we'll just go to the larger view here. The larger CONUS view here. So you can get an idea. There is some smoke out here. You can see out west. But there's clear air over here. So I don't see really any dense areas of smoke. So let's go to the smoke model here. HRRR smoke model. And be the last thing we're going to do here. And we will look at the 18Z run of that. And this really doesn't have too much smoke around, so let's just see what it is. There's a little bit today, but you notice it kind of lifts to the north. Tomorrow we'll have the clouds, so it won't really matter. And then as we get to Thursday, we're clear. We don't have too much smoke around. The heaviest smoke is really way off to the west there. You can see where it's coming from, California. So that seems to be where there's a pretty big wildfire. So I think that's going to wrap up this video. Anything changes for the weekend. As far as the skies go for the weekend, I can't really show you too much of that, but here's you can look at the GFS here. So you can see clears out Thursday, Friday. You see it's got like an area of clouds that kind of just sits there, and then Saturday, some cloud. Looks like there is another front approaching. That might be what causes the issues for Sunday. But again, Sunday looks like that front kind of pushes to the south almost, doesn't it? Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens, but no big cool downs. If you enjoyed that, unfortunately we're going to be close to average, I think, maybe a little bit above average, because we're getting into a warmer pattern. But I'll talk more about that on Sunday. We'll take a look at next week, obviously, but just the only really crappy day is tomorrow, and then it should be nice weather. It'll be clear. That I can't say, but at least we should have nice weather to be outside. So that is it. Good night.